Yeah, Russ, you've had so many of these close losses. Do you think it's you're not good enough to win these close games?
Russell, can you take us through the conversation during the 2-minute warning coming out to that 3rd and 10 play, and then sort of the decision to try to push the ball on the field, and then what you sort of saw as that play?
Yeah, when we called a pass play, it's 3rd and 10, called a pass play to try to end the game basically. Right there, we get a first down, the game's over.
Melvin was in at the goal line on that fumble. Are you involved in that rotation, or because he's doing some good things, but he's had issues clearly fumbling? Where's the decision in terms of him being in the game at that point? Because that fumble seemed to change the momentum.
The Denver Broncos just came off another embarrassing loss to a division foe in the Las Vegas Raiders, who are going through their own struggles in 2022. The only good thing coming out of Sunday's game between the Raiders and Broncos was that one of these two teams would get a pass for the week from all the non-stop trolling. Things started fine for the home team as Russ marched them down for 92 yards on the first drive to go up by 7. They extended their lead to 10 in the second quarter, and in their third possession, they were almost guaranteed to come out with more points, but managed to fumble that, as this is when everything fell apart. Prior to the game, Denver made a huge change as Nathaniel Hackett relinquished the play-calling duties to Clint Kubiak, and all signs were pointing in the right direction for the most part, but with 34 seconds to play before halftime, the Broncos faced a 3rd and 1 at the Raiders' 3-yard line. All they had to do was hand the ball off to their running back Latavius Murray, who had already scored in the first quarter from the 1-yard mark. However, instead, they decided to put the ball in the hands of Melvin Gordon, who's had a pretty atrocious campaign with his turnover issues, and as a result has seen his touches diminish rather quickly in the last few games. Gordon had fumbled the football 4 times in 2022, losing 2 of them, and they would be pretty costly mistakes. The running back again fumbled, with his team recovering the football but lost 4 crucial yards in the process and tried settling for a field goal, which eventually got blocked. And this was a huge momentum changer as the second half saw the Broncos look pretty deflated. This is just another blunder from the coaching staff for bringing Melvin back this season when they should have made Javonte Williams the workhorse back. He continues to see the field because Hackett allows him to do so. Most coaches would have benched him by now, however, Denver's coaching staff has continued to put the ball in his hands in big moments. Look, I feel bad for the guy, but his mistakes are costing all the hard work the team has put in, week out. Next, and this one was pretty brutal, up 16-13 at the 2-minute warning, the Broncos facing a 3rd and 10 situation at their own 34 with Las Vegas holding no timeouts, knew a first down would have iced the game. So they had a couple options, which was to run the ball and eat 40 seconds off the clock, which most teams would have done, or try and grab the first down and end the game right there. But in doing so, most coaches would have schemed the play under center with play action to catch the defense off guard. Instead, the Broncos came out in shotgun, and with no one open, Russell Wilson had to toss the ball away, stopping the clock. Now, this is the Denver Broncos we're talking about, who have the worst offense in the league, and interestingly enough, I found a stat from Nick Wright stating that had they scored 18 points in all their games, they'd be 9-1. That's just how dominant this defense has been all season. It's such a waste that they're playing at this level and that the offense hasn't been able to keep up. Anyways, Vegas tied the game as they got the ball back with a $1:43 left and won it in overtime, handing Denver their 7th loss of the season and compounding the misery Broncos country is feeling after the Russell Wilson trade. And to think as we stand right now, the Broncos will be handling Seattle a possible top 10 draft pick for next year is pretty insane. This team mortgaged their entire future to grab Russ out of Seattle, and this trade has totally backfired on the team. The offense seems lifeless under the tandem of Hackett and Wilson, and I wouldn't be too surprised if the head coach was next on the chopping block. I'm not sure what their plans are to do with Russ, who they paid a king's ransom for, but if he continues to play so ineffectively like he has in 2022, 2023 should bring a lot of questions to the organization. This season is pretty much a write-off, and it sucks that most of their high draft stock over the next 2 years are heading to Seattle, so trying to build around Russ is just going to be even more difficult.